Do you want a governor who doesn't defraud banks, doesn't sell drugs allegedly, and cares more about doing a good job than appearing on cable TV? If so, then Byron Donalds isn't your candidate for governor. Hey, Byron! Yeah, I think we found your ex-wife's burner account. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. It's hard for me to, I get emotional. Because we've been through so much. I remember when I had to come and get him out that cigar shop in Atlanta.
Wesley Hunt, for a year, spent a year living in Robert E. Lee Barracks. Every single day that I walked beneath that threshold, I looked up and saw that name and thought to myself, damn, this is a great country.
You don't forget about where you're from. Don't paint the picture. Don't tell us that we can't educate our kids on the opportunity. We're talking about vouchers. You're talking about things that's still going to cost more money.
Let them fight. No, let them get it out their system. Y'all, they turned on Byron.
So I think people look at it and say, you got a guy like Byron, he just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it.
That's how you gonna do it, brother? Huh? That's how you gonna do Byron Donalds after he got overlooked for the VP spot for this?
The severe GOP book bans that often target and censor diverse authors who write about marginalized communities. The latest potential victim of this movement, J.D. Vance. Yes, you heard that correctly. The vice president's infamous memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, is one of more than a dozen titles that have been removed from schools serving the kids of the U.S. military service members across the globe. It has not been outright banned yet, but the book has been flagged for a compliance review. It turns out that Vance's account of growing up in a white working-class family contains profanity. It contains references to LGBTQ plus community and some passages that briefly celebrate diversity, at least enough to conflict with executive orders issued by the Trump administration.
Then he got overlooked for a cabinet spot for this.
A woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. And you can do that in New York State. You can get a bear tag for a roadkill bear.
After he, Byron said no to a cabinet spot?
Do you feel like you were slighted in that way, or do you have bigger plans?
I don't feel slighted. Just because you're not in the cabinet doesn't mean you don't have a big job. If we're going to be truthful, well, that conversation was had. I said, no, I'm looking at other things.
So you were approached to be a part of the Trump cabinet?
There were conversations that were heard. I was leaving. That was never had. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I got my own plans and things that I want to do.
See, no, I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired. I came in and quit. I left. I told them, that box that had all my things in it. See, that's my freedom box. Okay, that is my freedom box, and I carry my freedom box in. When I walk off all my jobs, you know what I mean? So I got the same freedom box. I use that same box for 8-9 different jobs that I walked away from. And then they went and told me that it was all well and good because Byron was going to get to be a senator, right? Byron was going to be the next senator of Florida. And Ron DeSantis done went and messed that up. You know, it's really, I ain't see, Ron DeSantis did Byron Donalds like he did Black history in Florida.
The Republican governor's administration is blocking an advanced placement African-American history course from the state's high school curriculum. In a letter obtained by ABC News, the Florida Department of Education rejected the course, calling it inexplicably contrary to the Florida law and significantly lacks educational value.
And isn't this the latest example of how pick-me behavior is never rewarded? After all the time you spent out here explaining away all of this nonsense, now look at you. And by the way, there's so many different people that fit right here.
In 2 weeks, I'm done. Do you want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I'm regretting not voting for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light.
While we're on the topic of pick me, Byron, why wasn't you at the Black Magas? Yeah, they went to the White House. Yeah, it was live. It was Terrence Williams was there, and Michaela Montgomery was there, and Leo Terrell was there, and Tiger Woods was there. It was one of the most uncoordinated electric slides I ever seen in my life.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And they fit very nicely in this place of pick-me behavior never being rewarded, because it was just a few months ago, Black Maga was out here telling me, what have you gotten from that Democratic plantation? Aren't you tired of symbolic gestures? Aren't you tired of performative justice? And now they happy just to be invited to the thing that all the other presidents have done and want to celebrate some statues.
Booker T. Washington, Jackie Robinson, what a great athlete that was. Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali, and the late Kobe Bryant. People love Kobe Bryant.
I think they were just happy that Trump showed up and they gave them proper utensils this year.
You know what? Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Oh, look, Trump done endorsed Byron Donalds for governor. I'm hearing that highly respected Congressman Byron Donalds is considering running for governor of Florida, a state that I love and won big in 2016, 2020, and 2024. He couldn't have just said Florida, could he? He could. There's no way he could have just said Florida. That is going to follow the word Florida for at least the next 4 years. That's what we have to look forward to. I know Byron well, have seen him tested at the highest and most difficult levels, and he's a total winner. Unless you ask his ex-wife. Lot of mercy. Byron has a great wife, Erica, and 3 beautiful sons. They are very proud of him. As governor, Byron would have a big voice and will work closely with me to advance our America First agenda. By the way, he also endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm assuming that was something that he typed up as Vivek was gathering his things in his freedom box on his way out of Doge. And I find it quite ironic that the 2 people that we were just assuming were going to be placeholders so that they, for them to get somebody white in for the next cycle, have now shifted and moved on to now looking for governorships in these 2 pivotal states. Best of luck to you, gentlemen. Clearly, you haven't learned by now.
Will you make your decision by mid-April, like Rick Scott did?
Not really going to get into it now. There's a lot of different things that we're thinking through, but I do got to say, really appreciative of President Trump and his support. It's something where, I think if we decide to make that jump, the mission's going to be about making sure that Florida just goes to higher and higher heights. So right now we're having internal conversations, nothing really to put out right now.
Okay.
But I'm really appreciative of the support from President Trump and the support pouring out from so many other people around the state and around the country.
Yes. It will be interesting to see how much you are supported by the powers that be in the state.
My view is Donald Trump just got into office. I want these congressmen focused on enacting his agenda. They haven't done very much yet. They're not putting his executive orders into place. We'll see what they do on the spending. But we have such a narrow majority that to be trying to campaign other places and missing these votes, I think is not something that's advisable at all.
Did somebody say missing votes? Huh? I thought I heard him say missing votes. Now, if I were defending Byron Donalds, I would say, well, the man is not campaigning. He hasn't even owned up to running. But sound like you just said missing votes. And Byron Donalds ain't never wanted my defense, so... Hey, Byron. He just called you lazy. Yeah. He called you lazy and selfish. I know that speech when I hear it.
And so the reality is we've achieved victories in Florida. We need to start achieving those victories up there. So I think people look at it and say, you got a guy like Byron. He just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it.
Hey, Byron. Yeah, he said you was a front runner. Yeah, because he said all y'all was working on a group project and you was over there playing video games. He said they couldn't get you to get off the game, and all of a sudden you just put your name on the project. That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
He's been in other states campaigning, doing that. And that's fine, but okay, well then deliver results up there. That's what I want to see. I want to see them delivering results for the people of Florida. We deliver it here all the time for the people of Florida, and that's what we need to be doing. And so, I've said I'm going to be, raising money. We're going to be looking to have somebody that's going to be able to continue and build off the success that we've had here in Florida. I think a lot of people think somehow the battle's been won and you don't have to worry about it. We could revert very quickly. That could happen, 100%.
Revert to what, Ron DeSantis? The dark side?
And so it really needs to be, okay, are you going to be somebody that's going to fight for people, especially when it's not easy? Have you been willing to get in and get involved in these big battles that we've had and have won over these many years? And if you're not willing to do that, then I think we are going to see this state revert. So I would not take anything for granted. I know people have been we've had hundreds of thousands of people move here specifically because of the policies that we have. And I think that that's something that you should not take for granted. This is not necessarily something that just goes on autopilot. And it's just something that I think is really, really important. So my thing is yes, we've achieved these victories. We have more to do. But you got to solidify that, and then you got to take it to the next level, and that's really what the name of the game is.
So really, we have achieved a certain level of success, but what we want to do is stand on our tippy toes. We want to stand on our tippy toes and reach a new height. That's ultimately what I would like to see happen to the state. Well, let's see what the people are saying.
Florida. Is the race for governor in 2026 over in Florida? Donald Trump today announces that he will endorse Representative Byron Donalds of Florida for governor. In a poll conducted recently, it showed that Byron Donalds had a 1/3 of the voters in Florida with 31%, followed by Jeanette Nunez, the lieutenant governor, at 4%, our agriculture commissioner, Wilton Simpson at 3%, and former Miami Mayor Francis Suarez at 1%. Also does not include Matt Gaetz, who has indicated that he wants to run for governor, and also the governor's wife currently, Casey DeSantis, has indicated that she wants to run, and people are encouraging her. So does this mean that the Florida race for governor is over in 2026? We'll see. Will Casey DeSantis challenge Byron Daniels, Trump endorsed backer, or will Matt Gaetz, who you would think that he would have had the support of Trump, but maybe Trump decided with all of his baggage, he's staying away from that. So there you have it. We'll see what happens. You're in Florida. Let me know what you think. But Byron Daniels is as MAGA as they come and drunk all the Kool-Aid for sure. So that's just what we need. More of that in Florida. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, and my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. Orange Jesus, you can pipe in. Byron Daniels, you can too.
Ah, yes. Byron Daniels. Got to be on the lookout for him. Yeah, you got to be on the lookout for him. Do you want a governor who doesn't defraud banks, doesn't sell drugs allegedly, and cares more about doing a good job than appearing on cable TV? If so, then Byron Donalds isn't your candidate for governor. Hey, Byron! Yeah, I think we found your ex-wife's burner account. Yeah, because although they did put allegedly on there, so she probably wouldn't have done that. So this might be a real person, actually. But they did say defraud banks. Maybe that Byron Daniels was real. Donalds is a former criminal with no special quality that would make him a great governor. Just a low IQ black guy who really enjoys Donald Trump's. Donalds didn't govern. He spent all his time campaigning and currying favor to be anointed. His past is troublesome. And when he sided with Kamala Harris against Florida on AP studies, disqualifying. Huh. Did he now?
You know, I think part of the reason our country has struggled is because D.C. Republicans all too often accept false narratives, accept lies that are perpetrated by the left, and to accept the lie that Kamala Harris has been perpetrating even when that has been debunked. That's not the way you do it. The way you do it, the way you lead, is to fight back against the lies, is to speak the truth. So I'm here defending my state of Florida against false accusations and against lies, and we're going to continue to speak the truth.
Now, Byron, if it were up to me, if this was pretty much any other black person, I would highlight all of the tinged racial rhetoric and the response to you running. I would also highlight the fact that what you objected to that Ron DeSantis asserted about the AP history was when we were having the conversation about slavery being like a summer jobs program. You know, we talked about all the advantages that we have historically gained through slavery. Yeah, that kind of stuff, which is quite frankly impossible to defend. But by virtue of you objecting to it, now you have DeSantis and his bots coming at your neck, who are people that you need to win over in Florida. See, that's what I would say if I was getting your back. But the point I want to make is this. This is what happens when you pick me. You have picked me so long and so far that now you end up on the wrong side of complete nonsense and garbage. But that's the nonsense and garbage that you need to win over, because that's the side that you picked. Congratulations. But the question is, why would Ron DeSantis, you know what I mean? Why would Ron DeSantis be moving this way against Byron? Like, did he sold him a bag of oregano back in the day or something like that? Like, I don't understand. Did he invest in Byron Daniels? Like, I'm trying to figure out why they beefing. Ron DeSantis hits Byron Donalds, boosts wife, and Florida governor speculation. Who could be the Florida governor after Ron DeSantis finishes his second term? The jockeying is underway, with President Donald Trump firing the first shot. He endorsed Byron Donalds last week, but now DeSantis is weighing in, setting up a potential proxy war between the two Republican heavyweights. If Florida First Lady Casey DeSantis weren't at least toying with the idea of running for governor, her husband wouldn't be floating trial balloons. Quote, I won by the biggest margin than any Republicans ever won a governor's race here in Florida. She would do better than me, like there's no question about that. That would happen. The big question for the governor is whether there's still room for someone to run as his political heir, given that he's had an inconsistent relationship with the president. This weekend, Trump gave his coveted, complete and total endorsement to Donalds. Let me find out. So he trying to give her a boost. So he trying to give her candidacy a boost. That's why he took a shot at Byron. He trying to put some lifts in her shoes. You know what I mean? He trying to lift her up, but like on the low. You know what I mean? In the heel area where you wouldn't typically expect it. He trying to boost her up artificially at Byron's expense. That's crazy. Oh, here comes Laura Loomer. Hearing reports that Governor DeSantis is considering appointing his wife to be the lieutenant governor of Florida to replace Lieutenant Governor Nunes, who will be resigning soon to be the new president of FIU. He views this as a way to easily transition his wife into the governor's mansion as she prepares to run for governor in 2026 against Byron Donalds. Casey DeSantis already has her own office inside the governor's office, so she can oversee her husband. A lot of people don't even know that, but it's 100% true. She's been acting as the shadow governor throughout Ron's entire term to learn the ropes to launch her own campaign. The Florida Freedom Fund is a slush fund for Casey's 2026 gubernatorial run. Donors have already been told she's running, and they're loading up Florida Freedom Fund with cash so that when she files, the money can be transferred over to a pro-Casey PAC. Hey, Byron. Yeah, you need to go get Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk and them, because they said it's supposed to be a meritocracy. It's supposed to be a meritocracy, right? It's supposed to be a meritocracy, but here you already see the cronyism at play. He's just trying to slide her in. They're already raising money and all that. She got the office. Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk told me that everybody was supposed to compete on their own merit. You know what I mean? That's what they told me. You know, you need to go ahead and holler at them, because this doesn't seem very meritocratic. That's not what this seems like to me. But, you know what you really need is some DEI. You know what I mean? What you really need is some DEI and some oversight, you know, to overlook this process. That's actually what you need. But then again, you don't want my help.
So Donald Trump has decided to endorse Byron Donalds for the Florida governor race in 2026. Now you notice he's not endorsing Matt Gaetz, who has let everyone know that this is a true possibility. I mean, your name is just freaking mud right now, Matt Gaetz. You need to go away. Now, I really believe that Donald Trump is being intentional with his endorsement at this time, because really it is so early. And I believe the main reason is because of Ron DeSantis. Now, the rumor is that Casey DeSantis was planning to run for governorship. And that has been the rumor in the last year and a half. And we all know that DeSantis has the intention for running for higher office. He wants to be president of these United States. And he figures that if his wife is actually governor of Florida, then he can still show that political clout that he has. Honestly, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Byron Donalds is going to win the governor's race, nor Casey DeSantis. I think there's going to be too much damage from Trump administration that the voters here will try to get anyone that aligns himself with Trump out of office. And that includes DeSantis, who wants to mimic Trump. What do you think?
Well, what I think is I already done a video about the Venezuelans down there. I got a video coming out about the Cubans down there. I can't imagine what the black people are feeling down there right about now when you see him double down on our historical advantages, through the antebellum South. So I would imagine it's not too hot right now down in Florida. That's what I would imagine. And the polls are telling me something similar.
Gallup just did its follow-up poll, now 1 month into Trump being back in office, and his numbers have gotten worse. He's not -1 anymore. Now he's -6, which makes him, at this point in his term, not only the most disliked and unpopular president in 70-plus years of Gallup polling, Gallup says it actually puts him 15 points below the average polling for presidents. Again, over the last 72 years in which they have been doing this polling.
So if that is in fact the case, This is going to be hilarious. I can tell you that right now. This is going to be funny. Yeah. I always like a comedy with no protagonist. You know what I mean? That is what I like. I just like calamity abounds. That's my favorite. Hey, Byron, Kodak Black looking for you. Yeah, because he said you told him he could open up for your speech.
So like, imagine a world if all of us was just one color. If all of us was just blue or green. Oh, if everybody was smart, you gotta have some dumb people. Oh, what if everybody was rich? Who's gonna take the trash out?
Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. We have reached a new subscriber milestone, and they're each significant in their own way.
You is kind, you is smart, you is important.
It's the community that's been built around this channel, whether it's you guys comments and going back and forth during the premieres, or it's whether it's you guys comments on the actual videos, or you guys sharing the content. Those are all things that have helped this channel reach the level that it is right now. And it is those things that will allow it to continue to succeed and thrive. So I just wanted to say thank you. Some of your comments and some of your emails, and by the way, if you want to email me, admin@reesewaters.com, if you want to make sure that I have to see something that you have to say, or if you have a suggestion for content, some of your comments and your emails have been so incredible. I actually will start responding to them, not just via the comments or via email, but here on the content itself, because it warrants that. Of course, if you would like to join this channel, there's a link to membership in the description box to all of the videos. And of course, be sure to check out my second channel, Way of Waters, where I'll be dropping content on a regular basis as well, trying to find some level of peace. That's where you first got me messed up. She gave him to him, another man, like I'm not gonna get roasted. I ain't found it yet. I'm looking for it. That's what the channel is for.